So my 9/11 story begins in 1993 with the bombing. Um, at the time, my family was living in New York, a small city called Oceanside, which is located on the island. It's about 20 miles away from the city. I didn't find out about the bombing until I got home. I remember my brother, he was making fun of me, being like, "You went to Manhattan today, didn't you?" And honestly, it isn't until kind of recently that I kind of put together what happened that day with the bombing. What I do remember that day is my mom, she and my dad were already separated, already divorced, and she was calling him like every 20 minutes, half an hour, just to find out where he was, see if he was safe. My dad was a New York fireman in a city called Limbrook. He was okay. He was okay. In 2001, I was a sophomore in Cheyenne, Wyoming, going to East High. My It was kind of a rough time. Um, my stepdad had just been diagnosed with lung cancer. We just moved to Cheyenne the year previous, and I was having trouble adjusting. But both my parents had gotten jobs. They were working at Channel 5 WGN. In the morning, my stepdad was the cameraman. So he would run the camera for the 5 o'clock or the 5 a.m. news and also the noon news. That particular morning on September 11th, I was running late to school. And so my mom, she had to give me a ride in. Would turn on the TV in the morning just for a couple of minutes before she left, just to watch a little bit of my dad at work. And I was tying my shoes, well, about to go, when I heard my mother say, "Oh, it must be the anniversary of the bombing." And I look up, I look at the TV, and I see the smoke coming out of the top of the building. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't remember it that well. I was only like 8, 9 when it happened, but I thought that the bombing had happened down below, down in the basement. When I got to school, started hearing some of the rumors, but I was running late. I was running into class. I got to math class. It's my first class of the day, and that's where I started hearing that some these planes had hit one of the towers. And I don't know. It was only a. My mom said it was a bomb. She was the one that saw the footage. So okay. There was in the next class, the my English class, which is my homeroom. Um, After we did some reading, which we did the first 10 minutes of every class, 5, 10 minutes, the teacher turned on the TV, and that's when I got to see it again. Only this time, both towers were smoking. I I remember the announcement went over the school's PA system where the head principal said something along the lines of, "We know there's a situation happening in New York, but we need to get back to work, so all teachers please turn off their TVs." And there was this explosion on the screen. Like the explosion from when the tower begins to fall, you have the shock and you see the smoke coming out, and that was when the teacher turned off the TV. I didn't actually see the tower fall because it was just pure chance that she turned it off right when it started to. And I just remember thinking, did it fall? No, no, it cannot have. Did it? But did it? I also started remembering. It took me a couple of minutes to process it, and then I started thinking about my father. He's in Limbrook. Limbrook is only about half an hour away from the city, and he was there in '93, and now he's going to be there now. When I came home, my stepdad was sitting in his chair. He was exhausted, and he had a blanket over himself. Of course, the TV was on. He was watching it. My mom came home. She came home late that day. We hugged. Um, so, Later on, we're watching President Bush's response, and I remember my mom looked at it and said that wasn't. I've seen those eyes on your father. That's not fear. It was tightly controlled anger. Yeah, that was my day. He, we spent the next 3 or 4 days trying to call my father. We finally got a hold of him. He was all right. Turned out he didn't actually go into the tower that day. His company did go in the next, and um, he's not sick. I'm glad for that. Um, I know there's some in his company who are, but he's not.